Hey everybody, how's it going? So I'm out here today in the sticks in BFM, and as usual, I did what I shouldn't do. I got on Facebook Marketplace and I started looking, and I came across something I thought I might want to get, even though I probably don't need it, but I actually might need it. But anyhow, I came across this on Facebook, and I came out here the other day and I looked at it and I decided I was going to get it. And I did a little work on it the other day, and now I'm back at it today to finish the work. So let me show you what I got going on today. This is going to be an interesting thing. I've never done this before, and maybe a lot of you have never done this before, and maybe you think about doing it and you're like, well, how can I do that? Well, let me show you what I think might be the easy way to do what I need to do today. So let me show you. All right. So we have got a 1978 Dodge RV, okay? And it is ugly, it is horrible looking, it's in really bad shape, but it has a V8 engine in it. I was told it was a 360, and I'm not a Dodge guy, so I don't know what it is. There it is, and it's only got 47,000 miles on it. It's been sitting for a while. So I made a deal with the guy to buy the motor and the transmission and the radiator, which I already got out. And I'm going to take the drive shaft and the exhaust system. So I made a deal with him to buy all that. But the biggest thing is how do you get a V8 engine and transmission out of an RV? Well, it's not a simple thing to do. So I came up with what I thought might be a workable plan here. So let me tell you what I'm going to do. Okay, so first of all, I took the whole front end of the van off the other day, took the radiator out, and I was trying to see how I could get it out of there, because normally they would come out the front. But the problem with this is this bumper brace right here that goes across is welded in. So it would be really hard to get this thing out the front. Another option would be to lift the body off the frame, which is a pain in the butt. So I talked to the owners and I made an agreement with them. I paid them a little extra money and they agreed to let me, and again, I don't know how well this is going to work, so I've never done it before. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to take my torch and I'm going to cut the frame right here across and right here across. And then I'm going to cut it. We'll go inside here. I'm going to cut it right here on the back side of the A-arm, right across there, and let the cross member drop down with the engine attached. And then they had one wheel on the RV, only one. I wish they would have had two, but they only had one, and it's over there. It's that beat up wheel that you can see right there. And I stopped at a friend of mine's place who has a tire shop in town, and he happened to have one that is the right bolt pattern but the wrong size holes, but I managed to hammer it on there with a hammer, and hopefully it'll stay on there long enough for me to drag it out. But what I want to do is I want to drop it down, and then I want to drag it out with a chain, and then drag it up on my trailer with a come along. So I got this thing jacked way up in the air. I hope it's high enough that I can pull everything out right through the wheel well. That's my plan. But I got to take the transmission cross member loose. I got to take the drive shaft out. I got to take the exhaust system off. Got to do all that first before I start dropping the engine off. So let me get underneath there and pull that stuff out, and then we'll see what happens when we cut this frame, because I've never done this before. But if this works for me, hey, it might work for you guys. It might be a good way to get the motor and transmission out of an RV if you're wanting to do that. So. But let me try it and see, and we'll go from there. So my biggest concern is the fuel line, which I see right there is attached to the fuel pump. So I don't know. Obviously I don't want to cut that. I don't know how much fuel's in the tank. I don't know if it's any good. I don't want to start a gasoline fire. I did bring back there in the corner of my bed back there, I got a whole bunch of gallon jugs of water. So I brought those in case I have a fire. I've taken a rake and I've raked everything out from underneath there, basically all is underneath there is dirt. So as long as my sparks from my torch don't fly very far away, then I'll be okay. But when I do this, I need you guys to keep an eye out. If you see me start a fire, yell at me and I'll get it put out. All right, so let's get started on that. I'm going to pause this video, and because I'm crawling underneath there, you can't really see a whole lot anyhow. Where's my cardboard creeper? Here it is. But we'll go underneath here and we'll look. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a Dodge guy per se. I'm not an expert at it, so I'm not sure what drivetrain is in this thing. But down here, maybe you guys can shed some light on this. But as you can see, this thing's got a really nice dual exhaust system with glass pack mufflers coming all the way from the motor. And then it's got, of course, this two-piece drive shaft that I got to take loose back at the rear end, and then I got to take the carrier bearing out here and try to get that out. And then the transmission cross members right there. And I think once I get all that out of the way, I'm going to cut the exhaust up pretty close to the manifolds, because if I use this engine, I'll probably put headers on it anyhow, so it doesn't really matter to me where I cut it. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I haven't decided, but anyhow, and there's the transmission. I don't know. I think it's a 727, but I'm not sure. But the biggest thing that I was concerned with this thing is whether or not the engine would turn over. And it's been sitting a long time. You can tell by looking, it's been sitting a long time. And unfortunately, somebody stole the carburetor off of it. And they also broke the windshield out. So I was very concerned. Let me crawl back out here. I was very concerned about, let me get up here. I was very concerned about water getting in to the engine, because when I first came here and looked at this thing, let me go around the other side. I can't get that loose. Hold on. When I first came here and looked at this thing, the engine was open. It was uncovered. Had nothing covering it. Of course, before I left the other day, I took all these floor mats and pieces of metal and all this other crap and threw it on top of here, stuffed some plastic down in there. But I was very concerned that because the windshields broke out, that would have got water in the engine. But I pulled the drain plug out, and immediately oil came out. There's no water in the bottom of the pan, which is a very good sign. And now let's get a socket and let's see if this engine will rotate, because that was my big deal about buying this, was whether or not it would rotate. I told the guy, if it's locked up, I don't want it. But with 47,000 miles on it, if it's not locked up, it's got a lot of life left in it. So yeah, let's take a look here, and let me get a socket and a breaker bar, and we'll put it on this crankshaft and see what happens. Okay, hold on a second. All right, I'm back. I got a breaker bar here and a 1 1/4 inch socket, which is, I thought this was smaller than that, but that's what fits it. So we're going to put this on there, and let's see if it moves. Oh wow, look at that. Yeah, it actually moves very easily. Now, I don't want to move it very far, because the manifold is open, and I don't know how much dirt's gotten down in there. So what I need to do is, once I get this motor out, get it on a stand and flip it upside down and blow out the manifold, take the spark plugs out, blow out the cylinders, get all that cleaned out before I try to turn it over much, because if there's dirt or debris down in there, it could cause problems. So I don't want that to happen. I don't want valves to open when there's dirt sitting on top of them and a bunch of stuff falls down on top of the piston. So it does move. That's good enough for me. For now, next step. The next step is for me to take the drive shaft out and get the exhaust system off it, and then get the transmission cross member unbolted from the frame. And that will leave, the only thing will be left after that will be the engine hanging on the engine mounts on the cross member. So then I got to cut the cross member out. So let's get to doing that. I'm going to stop the video because it'd be hard for you to be underneath there anyhow. And I'll drag this stuff out and show it to you as I do it. So I'll be back shortly. Hang on. All right, I'm back. I got the exhaust loose, got it out, got the transmission cross member off, and now it's time to start cutting this frame. And actually I already cut one corner of it, so it won't take quite so long, but I want to cut the other three while you guys watch. So I need you guys to keep a fire watch out for me. If you see something catch on fire, let me know. The one corner I cut did have a fuel line, the fuel vapor line, the fuel return line, and when I cut it, I had to cut the fuel line because it was right next to the frame, and when I cut it with the torch, it started on fire. But this thing hadn't had gas in it for so long, it just basically burned for a couple of minutes and it went out. So just fumes in there, and there's no gas tanks on this thing that I can see, so they're gone, luckily. So anyhow, now we're ready to drop this thing on the ground. I'm hoping that when I cut, so I got the passenger side cut, and when I cut the driver's side, the back of the motor will drop down to the ground, and then I'll cut the front of the frame, and the front of it will drop, and I'll just be able to drag it out from underneath. That's the hope. And by the way, here's my torch setup I got. I just got it sitting on this concrete. There's concrete all over the place. This is kind of a cool place. They've got these big, huge metal buildings on them with like chimneys on them, and there's one there, and there's two more over there. And I was like, when I first came out here, I was like, what in the heck would you use a gigantic metal building like that? And they're all warped and rusted, and they look horrible. So I asked the people I bought the motor and transmission from, I said, what do these big buildings used to be? You guys know? Any guesses? So this used to be a business where they made charcoal, and they filled these things up with wood, and they would let it smolder for days and days and days until it turned into charcoal. So that's what these buildings are for. They're massive. I mean, you could fit a semi-truck inside of them. They're so big. But this used to be a charcoal operation, so that's what they did. They made charcoal here. Okay, so I'm going to set you guys right here next to my torch, and I'm going to cut. Let me turn the phone here a little bit, and then we'll zoom in. Come on. Zoom in, there we go. So I'm going to cut right in there, so you guys keep an eye out down on the ground. And if you see anything start on fire, yell at me. I got water. I got jugs of water. I got like 5 gallons of water here. I brought it with me as a precaution, trying to be safe. All right, so I got one side cut. Let's cut the other corner. And hopefully when we do that, the back of the motor and the transmission will drop down to the ground. And then we'll cut the 2 front frame rails, and the whole thing should fall down, and we should be able to drag it right out of there. Okay, let's go. Here goes nothing. I've never done this before, so we'll see what happens. Here we go. Got the old fire wrench going. last bit cut. Should drop down. There we go. That worked out good. Now we got to get the front here. We got to cut the front loose. Okay. We got the last little bit. I got to be careful so it doesn't fall on top of me. I got to watch out for that. I don't think it's going to. Okay. Well, it's out. It's loose. Now the hard part's going to be getting it out from underneath there. Hopefully I can drag it out this way, out the side. And with, I just got wheels on it. I don't have tires, which I'm glad I don't have tires on it because it'd be too tall. All right, so let's take a look. So as you can see, it's cut loose here. I cut it, the frame back there, cut the frame back there, and that's where the fuel line was back there. And I cut it here, so it's all loose now. So now I got to drag it sideways out through the wheel well. So if you guys do this, this is working really well so far. You want to just use wheels. You don't want to use tires on them. Just use wheels. So they'll still roll, but they drop down a lot lower to the ground. So, and I got this thing, I mean, you can see in there, I got two, ooh, that's hot. I got two steel wheels on there, a brick, cinder block, and then a couple blocks of wood underneath of that. So I got this thing quite a ways up in the air. But I should be able to get everything put away and hook a chain on right here and just drag it sideways. And it should come right out, I hope. I hope it doesn't catch. Let's look at it from this angle. So as you can see, get you guys down where you can see what we're looking at. So as you can see here, the engine, it should come right out this way pretty easily. So if I pull it straight, it should come. I'm going to have a little bit of a problem maybe here with the steering box. Luckily, my steering column was already loose. Somebody took that loose already. So, but I might have a little problem with the steering box. But I mean, I'm not worried about the fender or nothing like that. It's already beat up anyhow. This thing's pretty much junk. They're going to haul it off to the scrapper after this. So, all right, I'm going to stop the video, put all my stuff away, because now I got to get my truck positioned, hook a chain on there and drag it out. Then I got to back my trailer over here and pull it up on the trailer. All right, so I'll be back. Hold on. Well, I forgot to film me pulling the motor out, but that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Didn't work the way I wanted it to at all. But it came out, but not the way I wanted it to. So there's the motor. It came out. And there's the front suspension that I cut loose. It ripped off the motor, and I drug it, and the motor stayed right there. So now I have to try to get this motor on that trailer without a hoist. So that's going to be fun to try to drag it up on her. I don't know if I can do it or not. Hopefully I can. We'll see. But it's out, so we'll see how it goes from there. All right, so let me get it positioned, and then we'll try to get this thing winched up on the trailer. I will be back shortly. Okay, so I got the motor loaded up on the trailer. I was able to drag it up on one of my come-alongs. I'm glad I brought the come-alongs with me. It was a little bit of a challenge, but I got it done. But now the problem I have is this RV is sitting way up in the air on these bricks and wheels. And the wheels are mine. I like to have them back, and there's some wood blocks there that are mine too. So I got two choices here. I could try to hook something on this tree and raise it up, but I don't know how well that would work. And I want to have a little fun, so I'm going to do probably the wrong thing. I got a chain hooked to the front bumper and to the hitch on my truck, and I'm going to pull it tight, and I'm going to give it hell. They want to swing this thing around anyhow to try to put it on the trailer. So I'm just going to rip it off there and try to swing it around for them, and we'll see what happens. So here we go. Wish me luck. All right, here we go. That worked out really good. I know I'm a little crazy sometimes, but hey, it swung around now. They can load it up on a trailer. So, all right, guys, that's it for this video. So, we got the motor and transmission out of the RV. Of course, the suspension stays here, but I really don't care. I would have had to have, you know, hauled that to the scrap pile somehow. So it can stay here. When they haul this to the scrap pile, they can take that too. And now this is swung around to where they can grab it, hold of it, and just pull it up on a trailer. Should be pretty easy for them to do. They said they got a tractor they can get underneath there and pull it up on there with. So we got the old motor sitting up here. I got to show you guys something that I really like a lot. So when I bought this thing, when I came out and looked at it, the guy told me it was a 360. Or he said that's what someone told him, it was a 360. And had 47,000 miles on it. He wanted $400 for it. Well, I got it out and started looking at it. And looky there. See that? Nice. It's not a 360, it's a 440. I love it. Turns over free, 400 bucks for motor and transmission. Can't beat that, guys. All right, guys, that's it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little crazy. You know, it kind of works to do this. I mean, I got it out. So luckily my trailer it sits real low, and it's got these metal ramps that fold down almost flat to the ground. I mean, you can see right now I've got the jack up front jacked up, and it's touching the ground back here. That's how low it sits. So I was able, the oil pan caught on the corner right there of that ramp. That ramp is metal, but I rolled the engine over and put a block of wood underneath the transmission pan, and then it pulled up onto the ramp, and then fell off the block of wood, but it was already on the ramp, and at that point I was just able to drag it up on the trailer. So I put a little dent in the pan, but I didn't put a hole in it. So I mean, it's got to come apart anyhow, but you know, I'll reseal it and all that if I put it in anything. But I can't believe I got a 440 engine and a transmission for $400. It turns over, it's not froze up, so I'm happy. I'm gonna take it to the car wash and wash it. So I guess I'll maybe let you guys watch that, and we'll go wash it up and clean it up and see how it looks. The weird thing is, and I don't know why this is this way. Some people are just disrespectful, but the dipstick has gone out of the motor, and the dipstick is also gone out of the transmission. So, you know, there's dirt all over the top of the motor. So the transmission's got dirt down in the pan. I'm sure there's dirt down inside the engine. So I'm going to have to, you know, take it apart a little bit and clean it up and stuff. But it should be a good motor. I'm probably just going to pull the valve covers, intake manifold, pull the pan off, pull the front end apart, and, you know, clean it up and reseal it and all that, and, you know, check the timing chain and all that. It's got 47,000 miles on it. Everything should be good on it, but hopefully the timing chain and all that's good too. And it should have an RV cam in it, which would give it some power. So you put this motor in a car and put a set of headers on it, it should run like a scalded cat. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll go ahead and do the car wash video. I'm going to go in town. I got to get this mess cleaned up, and then I'm going to go in town and wash this thing off the car wash. So we'll do that. All right, guys. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. Okay, guys. Well, made it to the car wash. Didn't lose the motor off the trailer or nothing. Hope you enjoyed the RV destruction. It was kind of fun. Anyhow, let's clean this motor up and take a look at it once she's cleaned up. Get all the dirt and sticks and all the crap from the animals living on top of it off of it. Make it look good. I got it taped up, so it shouldn't get any water inside. But let's get it cleaned up and see what it looks like when we're done. Okay, let's go. You know, you gotta love going to the car wash and washing off an engine or an old car. Because of course you get covered in dirt and grease, you get sprayed in the face. It's a lot of fun. Not really, but hey, you do it for the love of the passion, I guess. I don't know. I just do it because I love doing it. So let's look at this real quick. So check this out. I sprayed these mufflers down. Them things look brand new, man. This exhaust system, that exhaust system, and I want to show you guys something. This is unbelievable. Check this out. It's been a long time since I've seen anything like this. If you go buy an exhaust system today, and you go and have your exhaust put on at a custom shop, the pipes are like paper thin. Look at this. Look at that pipes. Them things are easily a 1/16 of an inch thick. I mean, they are heavy, heavy pipes. Them things will never rust out. And when I was underneath the van looking at this thing, the RV, looking at this thing, and I was cutting it out, I was like, man, that's a nice exhaust system. It's heavy duty. I wonder what I can do. And then I remember something that I have at home, and I thought, oh my God, that is going to be perfect for what I'm going to use it for. And I'll show you guys later what I'm going to use this on. That exhaust system is going to be absolutely perfect for what I want to do with it. All right, so let's check this motor out real quick now that it's clean and transmission. So it looks a whole lot better than it did. It's not covered in dirt and mud and sticks and acorns and everything else. It actually cleaned up really nice. You can see that. The idiots that were stealing stuff off this, they ground a hole in the valve cover there with a grinder. I don't know what the heck they were cutting off, but they cut something off and they ground a hole in the you can see they cut here with a grinder. I guess they were trying to get the carburetor off. I don't know, they're too stupid to use a wrench, so they just used a grinder to cut it off with and probably ruined that valve cover, but I don't care. I don't need the valve cover anyhow. I got a set of old school aluminum fitting aluminum valve covers, but there was a whole bunch of sticks and debris down there. There's still a little bit way down in there, but of course when I take this apart, I'll clean all that out. This transmission, look at this. It says IS 51893. So I'm not sure what IS means. You guys, what do you guys think? Install? I don't know. Install 518 and 93. So maybe this transmission in 93 was rebuilt, which means the truck was a 78. So it was almost 20 years old. It was, what, 16 years old when this transmission apparently was put in there. So, you know, it probably had some miles on it. So hopefully this transmission here's only got, you know, a few, maybe 20, 30,000 miles on it. I don't know. But it says something 93, and that's not from the factory. So apparently they did some transmission work, rebuilt it, or maybe that's just another transmission they had, a junkyard transmission that came out of a wrecked vehicle and they put it in here or something. I don't know. But it looks really good. It cleaned up real nice. But anyhow, it cleaned up nice. The good thing about this is the dirt bags that were stealing stuff off this, they never did anything to open the motor up other than take the carburetor off. And I don't think I mentioned this before, but when they broke the windshield folded down over the top of the motor, so the water was running toward the back of the motor, and that's why I believe it turns over, because if water would have been running down that manifold, you'd be locked up tighter in a drum. And it's not locked up at all. So I'm really looking forward to getting this thing on a stand and getting it apart and looking at it. But for $400, I don't think I did bad. What do you guys think? I think I did really good. Anyhow, like I said, she cleaned up real nice. You know, everything looks really good. There wasn't a whole lot of grease on it, which leads me to believe that they're telling the truth about the 47,000 miles because it's so clean. So I think they're probably correct. You know, you can see even in there's not even a lot of dirt and grease buildup in there. So it looks pretty darn good for 1978, what, 88, 98, 08, 18. It's almost 50 years old, and it looks that good. All the spark plugs are still in it, so it didn't get anything in the cylinders there. You know, like I said, they took the dipstick out of the transmission and the motor for some reason. The motor is not a big deal, but the transmission, of course, it's got a pretty big hole in it, in the dipstick, and there were animals up there, you know, making nests and doing all kinds of crap. So I don't have no idea what's down in that pan, but I'm gonna have to put that transmission. Actually, what I might do is while it's on the trailer like this and it's angled like that, I might just go ahead and pull that pan off and clean all the junk out of there, and then put a filter kit in it and put it back together before I even pull it off the trailer. That way I can, that's done already. So I got a good spot to do it here, so I might just do that. But I got it taped up at the top there. I got everything sealed off so before I wash it, so it's nice and clean. But anyhow, all right guys, that's gonna wrap up the RV. Man, look at my face, good grief. That's gonna wrap up the RV. What I thought was a 360 engine I was buying for $400, but it's not, it's a 440. So I'm very happy. I got a couple cars I can put this in. Like I said, if I really wanted to do it right, I could take this motor, and of course it's a 78. It's probably got smog heads on it. It's probably got like, I don't know, 8.5 to 1 pistons in it, you know, which ain't great, but if I put a cam in it instead of headers on it, it's going to have gobs of torque. I mean, you put it in a, you know, a 3,000 pound car, it's going to scream. It's going to have plenty of power. So, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I couldn't resist this price, and I got it out of there. So I'm going to get it in my shop. I got another 440 that I bought for a lot, well, not a lot more. I paid $700 for it, and it's locked up. So I didn't think it was, but it was. It is. So this one's not. So I can put it on a stand, take the pan off, take the valve covers off, take the intake manifold off, take the front cover off, and reseal it, put all new seals in it, check the bearings, make sure they're okay, lubricate everything up real well, and maybe put a new timing chain in it, a new oil pump if it needs it, but with only 47,000 it probably does not, and might not even need a camshaft. And you know, of course, if I want to, I can put a hotter cam in it. You know, if I do that, and an aluminum intake and carburetor and a set of headers, it'll run really well. So, all right, guys, that's it. I'm gonna go home. I'm soaking wet. I've been doing this all day long. I'm tired. Hope you enjoy this. Keep tuned. I'm gonna keep working on this stuff and making these videos. So I appreciate you guys watching. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.